Yeah, so the concept philosophy has no definite definition. That is, the concept has been defined by various scholars with different perspectives based on their understanding and their orientations. That shows that philosophy been, has not been, has not, has no any universally acceptable definition. This is because it embraces many other fields of studies that makes it so complex and versatile. You see philosophy of religion, philosophy of science, philosophy of politics, philosophy of education, philosophy of adult education, philosophy of a lot of things you see there philosophies. So you see it is a kind of a word that is connected to many other disciplines. So that's why it is difficult to have a single universally or globally acceptable definition of philosophy. However, scholars have tried to, to, to arrive at some definitions of philosophy. The word philosophy emanates from two Greek words, philo and sophia. Philo means love and sophia means wisdom or knowledge. Therefore, philosophy means love for wisdom and knowledge. It deals with ultimate reality, general causes and principles of things and ideas. Also it deals with human perception and knowledge about the cosmos. How does the earth came into existence? Knowledge about what is real, what is truth. These are some of the things that philosophy try to look at. Definitions according to Chambers Dictionary defines philosophy as the pursuit of wisdom and knowledge, investigation of the being, the knowledge of the causes of all things, the wisdom here deals with eternal truth, ultimate reality in all things. Pythagoras' definition defined philosophy based on analogy. Pythagoras was a Greek philosopher of the 6th century. People address him as wise, but he preferred being called the lover of wisdom because he believed that his wisdom depended on his ignorance. He claimed that he was an ignorant person who had come in search of wisdom. That is, if you claim you are wise, definitely people will hide their wisdom from you. But if you claim you are ignorant, you don't know, you are searching for knowledge, you'll always benefit from people's other wisdom. That is his own conception about himself. So Pythagoras' analogy of the Greek Olympic Games, Pythagoras used the Greek Olympic Games to analyze, to give a kind of analogy, a scenario of who a philosopher is. So he categorizes the people based on their mission at the Olympic game. Here, there are people whose mission is trade and barter. Pythagoras called them lovers of gain. Those whose mission is to participate in the Olympic Games, to win fame and fortune for themselves and their country, they are called lovers of honor. Whereas those that just go to watch the event, these are lovers of the spectacle. Pythagoras believed that people's mission on earth is a similitude to the three categories of the Olympic Games. He grouped them as this: groups that attended to make money, he said he called them lovers of pleasure. Groups that went to compete and win laurels and medals, not lovers of activity, or groups that went as spectators, he referred to them as lovers of wisdom. On this basis, Pythagoras contended that philosopher is like a spectator, a keen observer. He looks at things, watches and reflects critically on the event and mysteries of existence, mysteries about life. So anyone who is a philosopher, he reflects, thinks deeply and critically about life, try to deduce meaning from what is all this life all about. What is life? Where are we coming from? Where are we going? These are some philosophical questions that. Yeah, so according to Plato, he sees philosophy as a reflective and reasoned attempt to understand the character and content of the universe. You know, the universe is a mystery when you look at it. is completely a mystery. So, an attempt, to understand the nature of the universe is seen as philosophy according to Plato. By taking its entirety as a single whole, from an observation and study of data collected from all aspects, you look at it with the view to understand how the nature of the universe. Then Aristotle described philosophy as the nature, as the knowledge of truth, as the knowledge of reality. Do you understand? Then Epicurus sees philosophy as an activity which secures the happy life by means of discussion and argument. So all discussion and argument that are channeled towards securing happiness, trying to know the reason for existence, to understand how things actually work, is and as an activity is also philosophy according to Epicurus. Argument. Other scholars and philosophers try also to define philosophy in other ways. Boyaczewski says philosophy is a serious sober search, a sober reflection of what is happening but in the world generally. Omoregbe say philosophy is a man whose heart is fit on reality. He also said philosophy is a rational search for answers to the questions that arise in the minds of men while reflecting on human existence. So, even though there are so many seemingly contradicting definitions of philosophy, certain basic features is common in most of the definitions. One is that it is a search, two, it is a pursuit, and three, a reflective exploration in the question of existence in search for reality. So, this is, in brief, how different scholars and philosophers try to define philosophy in brief. So in our next mod, in next content of this one will be history of philosophy. Thank you. So now let's take a look at the historical background of philosophy, how it all started. The history of ancient philosophy started from Greek, and it was traced back to the period of 7th century BC to the 5th century AD. You will see here the counting is in form of going backward, isn't it? Instead of saying 7th to 9th or to 8th, it now goes back to 5th. So in those period before Christ, counting is in minus. Counting goes in minus, it goes backward. That is why you see it here 7th century to BC, then to to 5th century AD. AD Anno Domini of the Lord. We start counting in positive. That's why it is like that. So this Greek philosophy originated in Miletus, an Ionian city of Asia Minor, and that was why early Greek philosophers are called Ionian or Milesian philosophers. And these ancient or Ionian philosophers include Thales, Anaximander, Anaximenes, Pythagoras, Heraclitus, Parmenides, Zeno, Empedocles, Anaxagoras, and Democritus. All these are names of philosophers of early Greek philosophers. So these ancient Greek philosophers actually was what formed the foundation of the Western philosophy. These philosophers preceded Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. I mean, the ancient Greek philosophers. They actually existed the before Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and that was why they are called philosophers of the pre-Socratic era. In any case, all philosophers that lived in Socratic and pre-Socratic era are called philosophers of antiquity. Philosophers of antiquity. These ancient philosophers focused their attention mainly on cosmogonic theory, that is, the origin of the universe, how the world came into existence. Their central focus, their central focus was on the existence. How did the world came into existence? In doing that, it involves investigating certain mysteries such as the origin, the creation, the evolution of the universe. These are issues which sometimes, as human beings, you begin to think in that dimension. How the world came into existence? How did the world came into existence? How was it created? You know, you look at even yourself sometimes. How did you even came into existence? How were you even created when you were not alive? If you are, for example, you are 40 years now, old now, in 41 years, 42 years ago, where were you? In what form are you? So these are some questions that philosophers used to ask. And also the ephemerality of life, the temporalness of life. Life is so short. Look at the period of life, everything exists and it goes. These people, philosophers, we're talking about them here, they existed and they are now no more, you know. And that is how life is. It's temporal life. It's temporal life. And later, during the medieval period between 5th century AD and 13th century AD, it witnessed the emergence of theologians and fathers of the church. That's when people believed to begin to feel the existence of God Almighty, and they believe that there is a supernatural power that controls the universe. They believe God as the custodian and the giver of wisdom. So philosophers of this period include Saint Thomas More, Saint Thomas Aquinas, and Saint Augustinus Aurelius. Then during the 14th to the 16th century AD was regarded as the modern period. In this period, two schools of thought emerged during this period. They are empiricism school of thought and the rationalism school of thought. The empiricists, who include among them John Locke, Bishop Berkeley, and David Hume, they believe that sense was the main source of knowledge, that all knowledge are from sense. That is what your sense cannot capture is not knowledge. That is their own belief. Then the rationalists include Descartes, Leibniz, and Spinoza. They have contrary belief to the empiricists. To the rationalists, they upheld that reason was the chief source of as the chief source of knowledge. That this knowledge is from reason, and similar, and of course, there are difference between sense and reason, isn't it? Let me give you an example that will show you the difference between sense and reason. There was a time when three people were traveling in a car. So along the way, one of the tire of the car removed, pulled out, and they have to park the car and look for the bolt to tie it back the tire. So when they were moving, meandering, looking here and there, looking for the knots that pull out, eventually they met a madman. Of course, the madman is saying he didn't have sense, isn't it? So the madman look at them, look at these people, they don't even have sense. What are you looking for? Oh, your tire pull out. Then go back, remove the bolts. All the tire, it has 4 or 5 bolts. Then remove one from one here, one from the other tire, one from the third tire, and now use the 3 bolts to tie this fourth tire and keep going. So it comes to their senses that so this is making he's talking, have reason what it does. So you see, these guys they have sense, but they failed to they failed to reason towards this dimension. And a madman who says maybe you don't have sense, look at how he reasoned. Based on reason, he gave them solution to their problem. So you can see the difference between sense and reason. To the empiricist, they said that the main source of knowledge is science, while rationalists say it is not it is it is reason. Then, as from the 19th century AD, philosophy became analytical in nature. Contemporary scholars of this period include Bertrand Russell and Ludwig Wittgenstein. Wittgenstein. Although in Africa, philosophers also exist at that period, but were not recognized due to absence of written documents. However, prominent African philosophers include B.O. Boudouin, a Nigerian, J. Omoregbe, a Nigerian, and also K. Wiredu, a Ghanaian. The question now to bug us here is, why do we study philosophy? Why? Why do you study philosophy? You know why? Philosophy opens way for systematic thinking about everything that exists, the search for reality. It also enables critical examination of fundamental issues. It exposes us to unfounded beliefs and dogmas, superstitions and prejudice. So that whatever you do, it must be based on reason and justification why you are doing it. Nothing happens just like that. There are always reasons why things happened. It also examines questions and provides solution from coherent systematic um, inquiry. Like Galileo and Copernicus, they are of the view that the Earth was a mobile object which rolls around its orbit, and the Sun is at the center of the universe. But subsequent investigation proved contrary to their belief. So it examines hypotheses and provides solutions from coherent systematic investigation and inquiry. The logic branch of philosophy enables man to reason straight and detect improper and crooked reasoning. The ethics branch of philosophy also elaborates on the difference between good and evil, what is morally acceptable in human society. Why is it that what is good here might be bad here in other place? What is good here is evil. What is evil here is good in other way around. So this reason why we study philosophy. So thank you